Hi, my name is Kelley Huston, and I'm a coach here at Such a Voice and also a voiceover actress. I'm here today to talk to you on Working Wednesday about video game performances, specifically how to find your character's voice. The first tip I'm going to give you is to take a look at the artist's rendering. They usually give you an illustration or a rendering that shows how the character looks, and oftentimes that can give you some really good tips on who that character is and what their voice might sound like. So, for example, if you look at an artist rendering of somebody who is looking out to the distance and is very muscular and strong and has their chin up, that's going to tell you a little bit about who that person is. They might be proud, they might be confident, perhaps a corporal or a captain, somebody who's in charge. So, those are things that you're looking at when you look at the illustration. You're going to look for tips on who that person is based on how the illustrator drew them. Another tip to finding and maintaining a character's voice is to actually physically embody that character. So that's essentially what you're doing here for your vocal performance is you're trying to figure out how that person stands and walks and lives. So, for example, when I was in DC Universe Online, I had to switch between three different characters. I had Black Canary, I had Catwoman, and Indigo One. So for each of those characters, I had a different stance that a different pose per se that I would strike when I was playing that character. And that would signal to me to switch voices and it would help me find who that character was. So for Catwoman, she was kind of feline and she's a cat. So how does a cat stand? How does Catwoman how does she stand? How does she walk? All of those things. And I would strike that pose and the voice that would help me find that voice. Oftentimes with video games, you get a lot of material about who this character is, a character description, and what's at stake for this character. Those are important things to consider when trying to find them vocally. You're also going to be provided oftentimes with a whole synopsis of the game, what's happening, what world do they live in, and those things are really important to read carefully and a few times even before you go in there. If they don't provide you with a synopsis when you go in for your session, you're going to want to ask the vocal director, the booth director, can you tell me a little bit more about this character? And okay, great. Can you tell me more about the worlds that they're living in? And ask them specific questions. I guarantee you they're going to be thankful that you are asking those questions because they want you to succeed when you go into that booth. They want you to perform well. They want their game to be a success. And that has a lot to do with your vocal performance. So I hope those three tips helped you. Again, being a voice for a character in a video game is just as much fun as it sounds. If you haven't done it before, I would recommend doing some auditions, play with those characters, and use those three tips to find that character's voice. Thanks again for joining me for Working Wednesday, and have a great week.